So I just want to make a quick video about my molly fish because I've had two die this week, which is very frustrating. So I first got two yellow mollies. I like them because they're an interesting colour and I've never had mollies. They were fine, and then I saw then I had another orange one died, that mini orange one that was about a year old but never grew more than half size, so the sort of one that had a growth disorder died. And then I put all the orange ones in one fish in one tank, because before I had too many orange ones, so I had them separated around the two tanks, and then when I had less, I put them all in one tank, and then I had basically just a tank full of guppies. And because the female guppies are very see-through, it basically looks like there's nothing in there most of the time. You know, if you look close, you can see there's quite a lot of females in there. But if you are sitting on the sofa and it's dark, it just looks like the tank's empty. So I thought I would get something that kind of makes it look just different. And they didn't seem to have many platies, and so I went with the mollies because it was different and it was a nice colour. And they were fine. And then I saw 2 weeks later, after that one had died and I'd mixed them, that there was some spotted ones that looked like Dalmatians, and they looked amazing. So I was like, I've got to get those two. And then I got them, but within 5 days, so I had 4 mollies. So within 5 days, one of the female spotted one died. And then I went to the shop and they actually gave me another one, and I didn't have to pay extra for it because it was kind of like, you can have this one. But I also got a silver one as well. But again, 5 days later, the female one died again. But I still had 4, and I was thinking that that's kind of enough, although this male one didn't seem to like these two. It was okay with that one, but it didn't like these two. But then another few days later, the male died, and then the yellow one died as well. So I was left with 2, a silver one and a yellow one. And then I thought, okay, obviously something's going wrong here because I've had quite a lot of mollies die on me. And I thought I'd wait a week, see if they still survived, and they did. And then I was going to Leon, so I went on holiday for 5 days. And I thought, if both of these two are still alive when I come back, I will get 2 more. And they were still alive, so I came back, and then I bought 2 more. And yeah, after 5 days or 6 days, I think it was, one of them died, but both of them were looking very, very skinny, and I noticed that this looked strange, and I looked carefully actually on the one that was still alive to see like what's going on here, and it did actually have some yellow spots on it, and apparently that's called ink or INK, which is a disease that they get if the pH isn't high enough. But it's strange though, because the platies and the other ones, they need the same pH, and therefore, you know, they both don't like soft water. They both like hard water. But I don't think I've had any deaths of the other orange ones. It's always been the mollies that have died. So yeah, I'm a bit confused about that. I know I tried with neons, and I was very successful. I had no neons die for like 6 months, and then they started, because I had 10 of them, and then they started one by one dying, and then when they got to about 4, I did go off and buy 5 more, but then I had like a weird, 3 of them died in one night, so then I went back down to having like 5, and then 2 of the old ones died, and then there was like 3 left, and they all just died overnight. I think it's because they like being in groups, and so I had a difficulty with that one. But I didn't want to get any more neons again, because I think it's best to buy them as like a group of 10, and that way when they all die, because they lay eggs, but the babies, the other fish eat the eggs, so they don't actually lay. So if you have neons, it will be very difficult to grow new babies unless they're in their own tank and the eggs aren't getting eaten by the other fish. So because of that, if you're buying neons, it's best to buy them as like a group of 10, and that way if they do go down to like 3 or 4, if they do die, well, they're probably fairly old, so it's not too much of a problem. But because you don't want too few in there, because I think they just die even if they are new. So I don't know, but I know that there has been some pipe changing a few months ago. I think it was about 6 months ago. They dug up all the streets, and they changed the pipes to plastic ones. So because of that, I'm pretty sure we do have soft water rather than hard water. So I guess that could be why things are different. But my fish are fine, and I'm using the same water. So or maybe they've just gotten used to the sort of subtle change of it going from hard to soft, and the mollies that I've taken are not. I don't know, because the swordfish I've got were from the same shop, and they're okay. So I don't know. I think it's got something to do with the name. The names are very important. If you look at all the biggest brands like Amazon, and that kind of says Amazon if you change the M, and eBay it's if you change the E to an A, it says AB. And I feel like there is something in this with names. If something has a name that's linked to me, I feel like it does so much more. It's more successful than names that don't link to me. I don't know if this is because my higher self knows which companies are going to be successful, hence goes back time and makes these companies be named certain things, which helps maybe even give it a spiritual level of success, because people. I do think that there's a strong spiritual connection with me, definitely, on like everything. If something has my name in it or links to me in some way, I think unless you're Islamic, it will be very successful. I think the Islamic spirit seems to be inverted. So if you take things that are opposite of or opposite of things that link to me, those would be more successful probably in the Islamic world, because they're the most inverted people, I think, or the most inverted souls have been drawn there, to be honest. And I don't want to talk about it, because there's tons of wars and problems going on in there, and I feel like this is a spiritual reason behind it, because the people that gather in these areas are inverted, but inverted people that live everywhere. So it's not just that, but genuinely I feel like there's a big spiritual thing with me, and if something connects to me, it's more likely to be successful. And I just feel like because of that, is that the real reason why the mollies died? I have 7 mollies die on me. I've got one left that actually is quite thick and quite dominant. This one was always the one that was always like swimming. Like I when I first got those two, I noticed that this one was always like the sort of, even though it was a female, it acted more like a sort of dominant male, an alpha male. And I kind of wanted to put this one in the bigger tank, because it looked like it wanted more space and stuff. So it has a very strong determination to live. So that one has actually ended up outliving all the other mollies. But maybe the reason why it's so determined to get out is because it knows that there's something wrong with the water, and it's just showing its determination to live and stuff. But we'll see how this one goes. Yeah, I know there was a yellow swordfish in the shop the other day, and I could get that. I don't want to buy any more if they're going to die. I don't want to keep going in there just getting fish just to die. But they had a yellow swordfish that kind of, I don't know. I think the swordfish are I've heard they're supposed to be half molly and half platy, and therefore if I get a yellow swordfish, it might survive the slightly softer water, and it might also be able to mate with the other yellow. But I like the idea of mating, but at the same time I've heard that the mollies can get really, really fat and then just blow out a bunch of babies, and your whole tank will be full basically within one pregnancy. And if they're going to be getting pregnant every month, I might have to start treating the mollies like guppies, e.g. keep them separate. The guppies do have a lot of babies, but it's fine when there's just a small number of them, because the babies do actually just get eaten. But yeah, when you've got lots of them, they keep getting the females pregnant, and then the females keep dying after a couple of pregnancies because of it. And then you just find that you have loads of males and not very many females, but then the whole tank just looks like some sort of rape orgy, because you can see lots of males just surrounding one female. And as soon as you get that point, you really need to separate. Well, if you start seeing that, then it just becomes like, I don't want to have this kind of tank, so then you have to separate it. So guppies are good, but you have to be prepared to either have a big tank where they can hide, or get 2 tanks where you can separate the females from males. And I'm doing that. But yeah, because the females are kind of more see-through, the tank looks empty if you look at it from a distance. But yeah, mollies probably aren't, if they're going to be giving birth to 70 or 40 little fish at the same time, and the mollies are quite good at hiding. So the molly babies don't get eaten easily. The guppy babies are very, very stupid, and even if they are surrounded by fish that are going to eat it, it doesn't seem to recognize or realize. Hence, if there are too many pregnancies in a guppy tank, it's actually okay, because the guppies the fry will just become like food for the rest of the group. And okay, it's bad, but that's just how reincarnation works. A lot of babies die and then they just get reborn as babies, but this is just part of guess part of the strength that kids have. Sometimes kids have a lot of strength and resilience, and I think that's just because maybe a lot do die in the past and then they come back and they have to try harder to survive, and yeah. But all the seven Mollies that died are going to be reincarnated, probably back in the fish shop, to be honest. But yeah, that's just how it is. And 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 yeah, I wanted to say that I was thinking of going on holiday. I really wanted to go on holiday, but I don't want to go on holiday. Things that I'm doing is definitely inspiring the whole timeline. In 2013, when I first found out that I was Christ and realized that I was inspiring songs and singers, and I felt like good, I'm helping people. Okay, I'm not helping myself, but I'll wait a couple of months, perhaps years. Eventually this is amounting to something. Eventually they're going to help me. And year after year after year passed, and they didn't help me. And then I started realizing that everything they'd done was only for self-glory and wasn't really benefiting me in any way, and was just insulting me. And then I stopped liking them and stopped wanting to follow them, stopped wanting to help them. And then I kind of realized that if me having a good life is making the world around me good, or because I'm inspiring, or my spirit is inspiring positivity and good things, then I was just kind of thinking, like, why am I doing this when I'm so miserable? Why would I want to make everyone else so happy whilst everyone else makes me feel like shit? And then that my view and my energy, or my need, my goals just suddenly started changing and started just being like, what, if everyone wants to make me feel like shit, then I want to make everyone else feel like shit. And I have noticed that films have become a lot worse, or a lot sicker, a lot grosser. They started becoming a lot worse probably around COVID time, so it did take a very long time for this positive energy to start streeping away, but it's definitely gone. But I feel like a lot of people, a lot of filmmakers might feel this way. I don't know how many Wallies there are in the world, how many idiots there are, but there's a lot. And if you're making a film and putting lots and lots of effort into it, you want to know that the people who are watching it are appreciating it or enjoying it, or but if the people, if 50% of the population can't tell the difference between a good film and a bad film, can't tell the difference between something that you've put a ton of energy in, ton of effort in, if you've put lots and lots of effort into it, versus, say, a film that you haven't put any energy into and you just sort of said, it doesn't really make any sense, but whatever, I'll just do it. If 50% of the population can't tell the difference between the two types of films, one that you've put energy and effort in and one you haven't, it just makes you feel like, why am I putting energy and effort into it? Why am I doing this in the first place? If I'm only doing this to make money, then I might as well just focus on making money rather than making a good film. And I feel like that energy is being shown and seen within films, and has been ever since COVID, or perhaps even a year or two before that. But yeah, if the reason why this is happening is because of me, I don't care. I've been trying to help others for such a long time, and I just felt like no one helped me. No one is promoting my name. No one is giving me, any kind of funding to have a better life, or giving me any kind of promotion or recognition or anything. And then I'm just like, so if I've been trapped in this sort of disgusting life, why have I been trapped in this disgusting life? And it's just like, well, it's obvious to inspire and to create the timeline. And well, why would I want to make the timeline nice and happy, and why would I want to help people when I don't feel when I don't feel like anyone wants to help me? If you wanted to help me, you wouldn't have ignored me for 12 years, and you have, and you still are, and it's still going on, and I don't know why, but nothing you've done is helping me, because I'm trapped I have nothing to do. I don't know what to do because I have no money to do anything. And the thought of trying to earn money is disgusting because my only options are working in a shop, but I couldn't even get any shop jobs. But if I could work into a shop, I'm not going to be happy because I'm going to be earning like £10 an hour or £8 an hour, and tax is going to be taken off. Like, so I'm only earning going to be earning like £6 an hour, and yeah, the thought of earning £6 an hour just to waste my energy on something that I don't have energy on because I feel like I can't even get out of bed most days because I'm so tired. And just my life is shit, and lying in bed just seems to be like lying in bed or lying on the sofa seems to be my only two options. And this wouldn't have been my option if people knock on my door, say hi, we know you're Christ, I'm going to buy you things, I'm going to take you places, I'm going to do stuff, and no one's doing that. So basically no one is helping unless you are actually talking to me and helping me have a better life. You are not helping me, and anything you do is not helping me. I think anything you do, the only thing you're going to be doing is helping my higher self, which who just wants to reduce the population. And that could be another reason why 7 of my 8 mollies have died, and in 2 months as well. The first month none died. I had the two yellow ones for 2 weeks or for 4 weeks before one died, and halfway through I started getting the yellow, probably on the 3rd week or something I got the spotted ones, and one of them died within 5 days, and then I had another one, and then another one, and then I don't know. Molly is code for Wally, I think, or Molly is like a drug. You're on Molly. That was Miley Cyrus used that word in her songs. But yeah, I want to have a nice, happy life. But if me having a nice, happy life is going to make the timeline nice, I don't want to do that if no one's willing to help me. You have to want to help me for me to want to help you. And therefore, if me not having a happy life means that you're not going to have a happy life, well, that's what I want if you don't want to help me. So as a God, I shouldn't see it as me helping myself. As a God, you need to help me. And by doing that, you show me that maybe I should help others. And if you're going to refuse to help me, then I'm going to refuse to help you. And I can't just help myself, because if helping myself is going to make other people happier, why do I want them to be happier when they're not wanting to make me happy? So that's the situation that I'm in. And because of that, I just have to accept that I'm going to have a horrible, miserable life until the day you stop ignoring me.